Good morning, FCA juniors. If you're watching this in the classroom, or you may be watching this online, or you may be a new student to our school who's watching this in the summer, we welcome you to our high school scheduling meeting to get you ready for your senior year. We are doing this a little different. This portion is going to give you an overview of information in regard to preparing for your senior year. We will then, if you are at FCA, in the next week or so, Mrs. Stevens and I will come into your classroom and we will meet with you and bring the paperwork in so that then you can fill out the scheduling form and ask any questions that you may have, and we will individually work with you to plan out your pre-scheduling form for next year. If you are online or you're listening in the summer and you're a new student, we would have sent this to you along with the paperwork in an email. And again, if you have questions, we ask that you would email Mrs. Stevens and I, and we will help you with those questions. So we will begin this high school information meeting. Just to remind you that the expert in anything was once a beginner, and although you are now almost 3 years into being in high school, there are still some things that you're not an expert in. Certainly getting ready for college, you are new. And so I would just ask you to remember that there are experts that surround you. Mrs. Stevens and I have done this for a long time. Your parents are there to help advise you. And then as you make choices for college and career, there will be people at the colleges that you will be able to talk with and gain information from. We start everything with prayer. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path." So, Father, I just thank you right now as we begin to pray and work with these juniors as they become seniors. That you would help guide and direct them into the next step for their next year as they finish out, and Lord, into the next phase of their life, whether it be career or college. We just ask that you would be with them. We pray that you would guide and direct them to where that is that you want them to be for college. And then we also ask for the scholarships, fundings that they will need to pay for that. We just thank you, Father, for being with them and ask you to bless this time together. In your Son's name, amen. I want to remind you of resources that we have at FCA. We really try to work hard to keep our FCA website up to date. And so sometimes some people will say that it's difficult to find things on the website. So I just thought I'd give you a screenshot of some of those places where you can look for information. One of those is for your planning, the scheduling. All of the paperwork that we will be bringing into you to fill out can be found on the FCA website. The best way to find this would be to go to the website and in the search box, just type in courses and scheduling, or you can type in scheduling, and this page will pop up. And this provides you information that is pertinent to scheduling, including the course description handbook and then also a pacing sheet that you can use. So I just want to draw your attention to that, as well as there are resources for CCP. Again, go to the FCA website and search CCP. This will provide you with information about College Credit Plus and how to get ready for that. There's also resources for planning for career and college. This talks about our Naviance program, and Naviance is going to be very important to you next year when you prepare for college. That is how you'll let the guidance office know that you need transcripts sent. This is also where you can use the ACT Practice Prep program, and you can also find out information about career and college. So let's get started with a reminder of what it is that you need to have in order to get your high school diploma at the end of the year next year. As a high school student, you need to complete 24 course credits. Those course credits can be broken down in the following manner. You need to have at least one Bible per year that you are in attendance at FCA. So if you are at FCA for 4 years, you will graduate with 4 credits of Bible. You also need 4 English credits to graduate from any high school in the state of Ohio, 4 math credits, 3 science, 3 social studies, a half a credit of health, half a credit of phys ed, a credit of fine arts, a credit of computer, a half a credit of senior project, and then 2.5 credits of electives, which a lot of students who are going to college will probably fill up with their foreign language. Foreign language is not required to graduate, but it is highly recommended for college. If you are looking at earning an academic honors diploma, students who need to do that need to fulfill 7 of the following 8 criteria: 4 Englishes, 4 maths, 4 sciences that must include chemistry and another advanced science, such as physics or anatomy and phys, social studies, 4 credits, foreign language, 3 credits in one language or 3 credits in 2 different languages, 1 credit of fine arts, a GPA of 3.5 minimum on a 4.0 scale, and then the ACT score or SAT score, 27 composite for the ACT and 1280 for the SAT. And super scoring is allowed. Super scoring is where you can take multiple tests and take the best areas and re-average. Remember that in order to get the academic honors diploma, you need to have 7 of the 8 criteria. So until you know for sure what your ACT score is, you really want to make sure that you get the other requirements done. There are some other honors diploma options, including STEM, arts, and social sciences. Those have more of an emphasis on doing experiential things or field experience. You can check those out at the FCA website where we have the graduation requirements. You are in the class of 2022, so you have 3 pathways to graduate. You must at least meet one of the following: 18 graduation points, which come from your end of course tests, which many of you have already done or will have done as soon as we get your government scores back. Have a college readiness score on the ACT or the SAT, or have industry certification work readiness if you're at the Career Center. Because there are new permanent requirements for the classes below you, you can also graduate with those, although most of you will not. But just briefly, those involve making sure that you have a competent score in Algebra 1, that you have a competent score in ELA 10, English 10, and that you also earn 2 college career diploma Ohio seals. Because you are in both eligible basically to be under both requirements, because you're in that transition period, you can earn a diploma, an Ohio diploma seal. And those are based on different things that you may have accomplished during your senior year. The Ohio Means Jobs Readiness Seal is more career oriented. You'll see that there's an honors diploma seal. That is for students who earn an honors diploma. So not only do you get an honors diploma, but you get a seal on your transcript and your diploma. Some of the other seals that some of you will receive because you did very well on your science your biology, you scored a 3 or better at the end of course, you'll get a science seal, or a citizenship based on having a 3 or better on the U.S. history, end of course, and the government, end of course. There are also seals for military enlistment. There are also 3 locally defined FCA seals that have to do with student engagement, fine arts, and community service. The information about that can be found on the FCA website as well. You don't have to earn those, but a nice thing about being in the position you're at is that you will get some of those seals. As a reminder, Fca Grading Scale, we have 2 scales: standard scale, which is most of our classes, and then the honors scale, which is for our honors classes and our CCP classes. How those are different is that basically if you have an A minus, or it equates to the same 4.0 GPA as an A. We have that because we want some of our students who are able to take harder courses to not be afraid to take a more challenging course, because we do know that your GPA is very, very important. And so that is in place to help with taking those harder courses. Your high school grade on your transcript is the grade at each semester for each class. It's very important that you pay attention to your final grade, which is your semester grade, which is your quarter 1 grade, for example, your quarter 1 and quarter 2 grade. And then because we have exam classes in English, math, science, social studies, and foreign language, which are 20% of your semester grade, you need to make sure that you're doing well on your exams as well. And that average is put on your transcript for towards your GPA. Now, since you are going into your senior year, one of the things that we have discovered is that, not discovered, but colleges have begun to move into what they call test optional decision making for college acceptance. What that means is that you can tell the college that you want them to look at your GPA and what you've done in high school ahead of your ACT score or your testing scores. And that is wonderful if your GPA is stronger than your ACT scores. Now, if you're a good ACT test taker, then you still have the opportunity to say that you want your ACT scores looked at as they decide whether or not to accept you. Because of the greater emphasis on your GPA, we want to really encourage you that the grade forgiveness policy that we have had in place at FCA for many, many years is something that you might want to consider as a junior right now into your senior year. You may find that you don't need to take a lot of courses for your senior year, or you will be taking CCP courses, but you also may need to take a good look at your GPA, and you might want to consider taking either a class that you didn't do very well in over, or you can also take an Ignitia class, which is an online course. The beauty of that is that we can have you take a pretest for the Ignitia course, and based on what you don't know, your course is built. And then at the end of that, assuming that you have a better grade, we can replace that grade on your transcript. So here's a great example. Say as a junior high student, you got a B in Algebra 1, and that B in Algebra 1 is part of your GPA. Well, now that you've had advanced math, it would be really maybe a good idea to go back and take the Ignitia Algebra 1. We would give you the pretest, and we would see what things you already know, and then based on what you don't know, you finish that course, and then we would replace that portion, that B, with whatever your grade is, and hopefully it would be an A. If you don't do as well, of course, the original B would stay. So as you're thinking about next year scheduling, that may be something to consider. You may also want to consider doing that now during the rest of this junior year if you have time to do that. Just a reminder about GPA for graduation. We do not rank, but we do use your cumulative GPA, which is your all 4 years GPA, and we have the summa cum laude program where if you have a 4.0, you graduate with a summa cum laude medal. If you have a 3.9 to a 3.99, magna cum laude medal. And then if your GPA is a 3.7 to a 3.89, it is a cum laude medal. Other things that GPA is used to consider is our graduation speakers. We use not only GPA, but also the ACT. We also have honor cords based on our principal's honor roll, high honor roll, and honor roll. And then members of the honor societies will wear honor cords at graduation to designate their membership in those honor societies. So again, GPA acceptance, I've kind of said some of this already. It is important for college applications. Obviously, your GPA at the end of your junior year, now, this year, is going to be the GPA that's on your senior applications that you're going to make in October and November. This year is your year to start looking and figuring out where you want to go to college. There are a lot of colleges. It's a buyer's market when it comes to college. So a lot of colleges are doing a lot more Zoom college fairs and trying to get you interested in their university. So this is a really good time for you to look at your GPA. What do you need? What kind of GPA do you need for scholarships? There are schools that are looking and making decisions about scholarships no longer based on just your ACT, but more on your GPA. So this is a good time to take a look at that. Again, your GPA versus credits completed quickly. It is really a good idea to make sure you are not just taking and trying to finish credits quickly. Make sure your GPA is strong. Again, thinking about next year, your course load, your ACT scores, and your GPA, making sure you have a balanced course load. As a senior, I mean, it's fun to be able to take challenging courses, but it's also fun and enjoyable to take courses that you do enjoy. And remember that colleges are looking for well-rounded students and not just academic-only students. So being part of athletic sports, being part of programs, being part of membership and clubs, those are all very, very good to have on your resume. Study hall. Again, you as a senior next year may find that you have more study halls, especially if you take more CCP courses. Then that's because the CCP classes, the college classes, don't meet every day like your traditional classes. They may only meet 2 or 3 days a week because you have a lot of outside work that you need to do. So you may have more study halls. That could be a good thing. That could then give you time to do an Ignitia class for your forgiveness policy. That can also give you time to do scholarship, write scholarship applications and look for those, and prepare for college, prepare for your senior project. So considering your study halls, consider those wisely. The other thing I guess I should talk about is students who request a half day or an early release as a senior. That can be done. State of Ohio requires that a student be in attendance at least half of a day. For us, we have 8 academic periods, so half of an academic day at FCA is 4 periods. So you could be at school for 4 periods, and then you could go take college courses off campus. You could work. Those are things that a student as a senior can request, and you would just request those by by sending a letter or an email to Mrs. Kumler, your principal, and making that request. I do encourage seniors not to slack off, but just to make sure that you're planning your senior year. Colleges don't like to see you just slide by. But if you are legitimately using that senior year to perhaps do your coursework in the morning and then have a job in the afternoon, those are seen as positive things as well. College applications and scholarships are part of your using your GPA and getting prepared, and next year those will begin to escalate. Senior project will be a time where you can use to do your Common App or do the college applications that you need to do. Reminder about testing, it is offered, I believe it is even offered more than 7 times a year. They keep increasing the ACT or the SAT. But ACT has also started in the past September, past fall, to do ACT section testing, which means that you could take the ACT, and if you, say for instance, didn't do so well in the math section, you could just go in and take just the math section, and they would re-average that, which makes it kind of nice if you have to just focus in on one test area instead of all of them. Naviance is our career and college planning resource. This is a great place for you to do interest inventories. Again, this has the ACT practice. This also has the resume builder. As senior project, part of that you will build a resume. So we really encourage you to even start this summer on building that resume. If you're not sure how to get into Naviance, just check with Mrs. Stevens and I, and we can help you with that. College Credit Plus is another option that you can do as a senior, and that is something that you need to have an ACT or Accuplacer score to show that you're college ready. You enroll in college while you're in high school, and you can earn credits for both high school and college. As you can see, our CCP statistics really play out that not every senior takes CCP courses. You'll see that there, but most of our seniors do. And so we encourage you to do that if you are ready. So let's get back down to scheduling. Next year you will take Bible 12. And part of Bible is, of course, our Cecil, our students engaged in servant leadership. A reminder that that is an FCA service scholars organization, and you can put that on your scholarship applications as well as your college applications because it is a service organization. Cecil is the name of it. Cecil is a Bible requirement. It is also something that needs to be on your senior resume, and you can use your Cecil to earn one of the community service diploma honor seals, which is kind of nice. You'll take English 12 next year. Math just depends on where you are. Reminder, college minimum for math is Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Geometry. Really encourage you to take math every year and stay math ready and just not math rusty, and there are math options beyond Algebra 2. I would really ask you to check with your math teacher. You also need to kind of look at what careers you may be looking at. If you know what college major you want to take, and I realize you may not know, and that's okay, but if you do have an idea of what it is that you want to do in college, it's good to go ahead and look at that website and see what kind of math do I need for that career. Some college majors require calculus, some require statistics. It's good to check and see. And if you can get that done during your high school years, that makes it a nice way to transition into college. Science, you can sign up for physics and/or anatomy and physiology. We have had students sign up for both. Some years we've been able to schedule both courses on different periods, and some years we can't. So please sign up, and based on what you have, we'll get a good idea of how to build the master schedule. We do strongly recommend physics because it does help the ACT score. So those are the requirements for science. Social studies requirements. You need 3 credits for high school diploma. If you're working on an honors diploma, you need 4. The college prep recommended social studies coursework include world history, U.S. government, and economics, financial literacy. Most of you will have completed those by the end of your junior year. So a lot of you have your 3. If you are missing any of those, then those are courses that you need to put on your schedule. The additional social studies course options include CCP courses, which we have quite a few of those courses that qualify as social studies, as well as Ignitia social studies options. Your college credit plus courses. This is a list, and I'm going to talk about some of the social studies that are on this list from this last slide that you can take. Those include the courses of general psychology, intro to sociology, Western Civ 1 and 2, Holocaust, as well as survey of history 2. Those are all social studies courses that can be taken as college credit plus courses. So if you're looking for additional social studies, we have a bunch of those. The other courses that you can take for CCP do include English Comp 1, English Comp 2, good courses to check out because usually in college, gen eds require English Comp 1 minimally. They may require 2, so that's a good thing to check out. Oral communications, take that next year along with your senior project because that senior instructor is going to help you prepare for your senior project. It is part of that course. So again, students that are interested in CCP, there will be a CCP information video that Mrs. Stevens will do, and you need to apply for acceptance and funding for the courses before April 1st. Again, foreign language is not required to graduate, and most colleges recommend that you have 2 credits in 1 foreign language, with 3 to 4 of them encouraged, or 2 years in 2 languages. Again, Spanish 1 through 5 in the classroom is strongly encouraged. We do have Ignitia, Spanish, and French. Those courses, Ignitia courses are NCAA approved. So if you want to go to a D1, D2 school to play athletics, you do not need to worry about whether an Ignitia class is approved because it is. Fine arts, there is an offering sheet on the FCA website, and we will provide you one when we come in to do the workshop with you. Many of our courses that are fine arts can be taken as repeat courses. So if you're in choir or band or night singers, you can take that over more years, and those are great GPA builders as well as fun, especially if you enjoy singing and music and doing art or visual media as well. Computer juniors, if you have not taken a computer class next year, as of this year, you need to sign up for computer next year. If you're not going to take a computer class but want to do the computer competency assessment, which means that you do projects to show that you are competent, you know how to keyboard, you know how to do the things that are going to help you be successful in college, you can do the computer competency assessment. We ask that you do that before the start of your senior year. So between now and this summer, please complete that and turn that in. There are also Ignitia online lab courses as well that you can take. Phys Ed, you need a half a credit of Phys Ed to graduate. Some of you receive that in your 7th and 8th grade year. Strength training is also available. That's great for athletes. And that class can be set up as a 2-day or a 3-day or a 5-day week class, which is kind of nice, especially if you have CCP classes and you want to have something else opposite on those days that you're taking a CCP course. There's also the physical education waiver. So if you have not done your physical education, you look at your transcript. We will have that when we come in to work with you. If you're missing your phys ed, those are the things that we need you to work on. The phys ed waiver basically says that the half credit of phys ed can be waived by your participating in 2 seasons of any FCA sport, cheerleading, archery, and or marching band. So that waiver has been in place for the last 3 years. So if you've been in 2 seasons of a sport, or you did a sport and band, or any combination of this, then you are eligible to fill out the waiver. The waiver is a form that you fill out, you turn into the guidance office, we place it on your transcript. There is not a credit or grade, but you then have your phys ed requirement waived. You do then still need an additional half credit in any other subject area. You still have to graduate with 24 credits. You can't graduate with 23 and a half, but you graduate with 24 and you have the waiver for the phys ed. Another way to get your phys ed credit if you need it is to do Ignitia, yes, online phys ed. You can do that. Basically, that can be adjusted. Say in junior high, you got 0.25 credit of your phys ed and you still need another 0.25. We can adjust that Ignitia phys ed to meet that half credit. You can do Ignitia phys ed either during the school year or you can do it during the summer. Mrs. Stevens is actually the teacher, the facilitator of the Ignitia course in the summer. You basically do your coursework at home and then you come in for the tests. If you only need half of the half credit, say you only need 0.25, we adjust it so you would take half of the course, and of course you would then pay half of the fee. So if you're interested in doing that, that information is also on the scheduling website, and you need to register by May. Health is another course. So if you have not taken health yet, next year as a senior, you need to sign up for Ignitia Health during the school year, or you can do it during the summer as well. Now, Mrs. Brake takes care of that class. And again, you would need to register during May. The course is $160. You do the unit work during the summer. You come in and do the final unit test. Mrs. Brake does like orientation at the end of the year before school ends and helps you know what to do. And then she stays in touch with you. So that's a good way to get your health done. Ignitia Lab also offers 65 other courses. It's basically a lab that we schedule into, that you have a teacher who supervises, turns the tests and quizzes on for you. Program is available 24/7, lets you work at your own pace, and it just provides more options for students who want to maybe explore different areas that we don't have a full classroom of students to take. Senior project. You will do your senior project next year. That is required. It's your capstone project. It's an opportunity to take all the things you've learned in high school, put them together. You'll do a project. You'll do a paper in conjunction with your English class, your research portion of that. So you'll get a research grade for both English and senior project rather than do 2 separate research papers. We combine them. and then you do your presentation in May of your project. The oral communications class also uses your senior project as their exam. So one of the nice things about taking oral communication CCP is that the OCU professor will also work with you in preparing for your senior project presentation. So senior project is something you need to be thinking about now. You need to talk to your English teacher right now because she works with the seniors this year. It would be really good for you to have your senior project in place, even think about. Some students get them done over the summer so that when they get started in their senior year, they've already got that in place. One of the areas to go if you're not sure about senior project, you want to take a look at what's out there, maybe see what other kids have done in the past. You can go to the FCA website and search senior project. There's a whole section that has everything to do with how to do senior project, as well as a listing of all of the projects that we have had over the years. So you can get an idea of, maybe there might be an idea that somebody's done. You're not stealing anybody's idea if you do another project, because remember, everybody's project is different, even if the concept is kind of similar. Your senior resume is something you'll build in senior project as well. Remember, that starts your freshman year. So I would advise you to work on that. That senior resume can be filled out in Naviance. There's a very good resume builder in Naviance, and we really encourage you to do that. If you wait till next year, you may feel like you've got a lot to do. It's really a good thing to do your resume as you work through this year. So some of the resume builders you may need to think about: athletic teams, being a member of student council, being a class officer, being on quiz team, being a member of the National Honor Societies, including officers for those societies. That looks great on your resume and then on your college applications. Peer tutoring would include being a math tutor. Being in band and choir is also something that's very, very important. Mentor opportunities, that's a great place to show that you are responsible and that you are a helper. And we love having mentors that help with the phys ed classes or help in the offices or help with teachers, especially now with more online things. Many of our students are helping teachers do PowerPoints and Zoom things. And so that's a great thing to put on your resume, that you have the ability to do those technical things. Your CECL and your mission outwork should also be on your resume, as well as babysitting and house sitting and even pet sitting. Just a reminder that if someone feels that you're responsible enough to babysit or take care of their house, that's a good sign. So that should be on your resume. What to do now? Well, what to do now is that you need to kind of wait for us to come in and meet with you, and that will happen in a little while. As a junior becoming a senior, I can guarantee that Mrs. Stevens and I will make sure that we have double checked to make sure that you have all the graduation credits. So please understand, we are very, very diligent in making sure that we don't miss having you have what you need to graduate. So what will happen is you'll fill out your pre-scheduling form. You'll take that home. You'll talk to your parents. They need to sign it. You'll bring it back to the guidance office. We will then take that information. You're the seniors, so basically the master schedule gets built with your information first. And then once we have the master schedule built, then we will build your schedule. And then that schedule will be, you'll be able to adjust it even into the first 2 weeks of school. So if you need to make a change, it can still be done. So we just ask you to review your 4-year plan that maybe you've already had in place and take a look at what do I need to do for next year. Remember that as a senior next year, we will continue to provide you information about scholarships and career planning and college planning and all of that. So your job now is to just wait for us, and then when we come in, be ready to ask questions and we will help you. So On behalf of Mrs. Stevens and myself in the guidance office, we thank you for listening and hope that this has been informative, and we look forward to meeting with you to finish your pre-scheduling for your senior year. Goodbye.